For today's practice, I've been practicing It Ain't Necessarily So. I've taken it in sections this time. So the first bit is marked moderato. So that's my first section. And this bit opens with 5 pizzicato chords, which obviously I need to focus on my intonation, how hard I'm pressing my fingers onto the string to get the right sound for pizzicato, and also what part of the finger I'm using for pizzicato. If you're hitting your nail when you're doing pizzicato, then it's going to come out quite harsh and not such a nice sound. But if you're getting the fleshier part of your finger, then it's going to come out as more of a nice brushing sound, which is what we're trying to aim for within this piece, really. We go on to arco, which is where you come out of pizzicato and going on to a bowing section. And this comes with quite a few slides up between different positions, so you have to be really careful to hit the right notes so that your intonation is precise and it sounds obviously nice for the audience to be listening to. We have quite a lot of that section, and we're looking at quite a few accidentals. Again, that tuning intonation is very important here. The next section it's swap strings, so we've been on quite low strings for this first section of the moderato bit, and then we actually move on to higher strings such as the E string and the A string, and we're looking at going into third, fourth position here, so sliding between first and third and fourth, which is obviously quite challenging to get everything in tune. So that's the technical part of this bit. Sliding between positions is always quite a challenge for most people. So we have to really make sure we're hitting all of that. And then we come to our harmonic part, which, as I've said in previous videos, is always a challenge for me. Because harmonics, you have to hit the right note. Otherwise, if you're even a fraction of a way out of tune, then it's not going to sound nice, and it is going to sound very, very squeaky, very, very squeaky, as a lot of people kind of stereotype the violin to sound. This will actually sound like that stereotypical violin sound, which is just squeaky. So this section, you have to hit the right part of your violin to really get the right note. We're also looking at kind of double stopping with these harmonics. So your lower finger is pressed down and your upper finger is very, very light on the violin. So we're looking at finger dexterity as well, finger strength, your concentration and focus on this section. Without it, you cannot really get this section right. And then your bow speed as well has to be very, very fast, because that will bring out the overall sound that you want to achieve with this. The next bit is just kind of a repeat of the bit before the harmonics, so you're just kind of going over but with a slight different twist. So some decorative parts of this, some grace notes we have. So we just have to be quite quick with our finger movement there. Overall, it's very much focusing on the intonation within this passage, and a bit of this piece is in a more jazzy style, so it's looking at triplet notes and how you focus on rhythm. So holding notes for the right amount of time to be able to fit the triplets in at the right speed, and it's a very precise sound jazz has. So you have to have that kind of slidey, schmoozy, not too harsh, but at the same time not too subtle kind of a sound. So I like, personally, my style matches this quite a lot because I like sliding between different positions, whereas a lot of violinists kind of like to move, block, and kind of not slide through the string. I quite like that style, so this is quite a nice piece for me to be playing. Though it's challenging with its technique, I do like that kind of style. For my next practice sessions, I will be going through to Allegro Gioioso, and focusing on that section before it heads back to tempo 1, which is kind of an imitation of this first section in moderato, but it definitely changes past the first line and uses different strings. For that next section, I will be looking at slowing it down, repeating it, possibly doing it in different rhythms, but because this piece is quite challenging rhythmically anyway, I like to kind of stick to that rhythm, unless you have sections where you seriously need to work on notation and higher positions. But this Allegro Gioioso section is all about staccato, accents, and hitting those notes perfectly, because you can tell if it's going out of time. We also have a time signature change in that section as well, so I will be trying to focus on how I kind of alter the way that sounds to the rest of the piece, because obviously when a composer marks a section differently, so we've gone from moderato to Allegro Gioioso, and changes the time signature, they clearly want a difference within that section, and that's what I'll really be trying to pull off in my next practice sessions. But for now, I'll play you the moderato section that I've been working on today. So as you can see there, I got through a lot of that at a very nice kind of tempo, very nice intonation sound, and there were just certain parts that I feel like I need to go over. So for instance, the harmonic part, I do try and practice every single day, just repetitive practice, and really trying to get it solidified. I also use the practice that we have where we just take the bottom note for double stopping of these harmonics. So I ignore the light finger on top and just go for the solid notes, because I'm only using one finger when I'm sliding up and down. It's very, very hard to get that in tune, as normally we have the whole movement of the hand and the fingers. So using only the first finger is quite a challenge, and that's how I like to break it down in my practice sessions as well. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you for watching my practice.